Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Sashery, and as always, I am joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Greetings, Rob.
Greetings, Doug.
Seems like we've done this before today.
Man, we've had some technical difficulties today. I don't know what happened. Gremlins.
Yeah, and
It's the Gremlins, man.
I'm going to tell a little story, but also before that, I'll introduce our guest. Our guest today is Mr. Brad Stewart of the band Saliva.
Nice.
Hey, Brad.
Greetings, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. But I got
it. Got it worked out, man. We got it worked out.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience, man.
Yeah, the 50th try, boy. Anybody hearing this now will be like,
yeah.
But what I was going to tell you, our most successful episode we've done yet. At least YouTube. I can't tell. I can tell on Apple, but on YouTube, the hiking one. So I'm still listening to stuff about hiking, and I'm just really, I grew up in South Louisiana, so I'm used to going, but I'm used to what animals we had there. But I'm listening. I'm going in through YouTube, and what the hell do I see? And it was in northern Colorado. Somebody got attacked and killed by
a lady got attacked by a bobcat.
Mountain lion.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, God,
those are big.
Yeah, when I was in when I was in Chico, California last year, I actually did run across some scat, and I was like, oh God,
yeah,
what animals?
I think they killed that cat in another one in their area.
It wasn't a chupacabra?
No, and by the way, that.
You don't want to cross one of those either.
Yeah.
I was good.
Well, no, but this leads into something else, and I wasn't gonna. I might have even forgot about it. I think I forgot to write it down. But Brad, of course, being there when Shinedown founded, and with Saliva now, and he is he's on the Bailey Podcast Exchange with Jason Bailey, and the Vinyl Road podcast is the podcast he does every week. I catch it on YouTube. I mean, you're anywhere, I guess, in Florida, but especially on the northern part, Jacksonville. He, in his non-tour life, he sells homes, so he's in real estate, that's a good deal. If I wasn't pushing spice, I'd probably be pushing real estate. Yeah.
Brian Scott does that here.
He does?
Yeah, like sick puppies.
Yeah,
singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he does that here in town.
It's a good side hustle, man. I mean, if you're because most of it you can really do remotely, and I mean, obviously you can't physically show the homes, but I mean, you could outsource that to one of your fellow agents. But I mean, for the most part, you can do it, and it's my wife and I owned properties for years, and I got my license 7-8 years ago, and it was because we wanted to sell off the properties because they finally came back to value after the crash of 2006.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, So we were like, dude, we got to get out of these fucking things.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, so I'm like, I got my license, and, obviously didn't have to pay the commission, at least on one side of the equation. So anyhow, and then I just started doing, deals with my friends and just like my sphere, and I'd either on the buyer or the selling side. I'm typically on the buying side, but I actually have a listing on the north side of Jacksonville. If anyone's listening and wants to move to Jacksonville, hit me up.
Yeah. I think Orange Beach is as close as I'm going to be going this week, and then
Yeah.
I'll cruise. That's the one thing, boy. When I'm going from when I'm going to say if I'm going to Rockville, there is absolutely nothing between, what is it? Is it Panama City to Jacksonville, or is it Jacksonville to, I can't remember which, but it's a stretch of, there's nothing in it.
Oh, I-10. Yeah, I-10 from, besides like Tallahassee right in the middle, it's pine trees and just like one straight level, there's no hills. It's shit.
Yeah, it's flat.
Well, I mean, actually, when you get towards Tallahassee, there is some hills, but besides that.
No, the big problem was I was going to Rockville last year, or 2 years ago, and there was a damn tornado. And I was in the weather was a little rough ahead of me, but it was mainly the day before, and that morning before, and the little town in between somewhere over there, the only one that and I usually stay in a Hilton property or a Marriott, but it was a Holiday Inn Express was the only hotel they had there. and it got hit by, everything on the exit later with trees down and everything, but the power was out, and I told him, I don't care. Just give me the room. I just need to sleep because it was
no
late.
Power?
No power.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did not care.
Damn.
I just had to sleep. And so I took that. But no, yeah, I was going to give you a little bit of grief because at the end of one of the podcasts, a couple of little ones, like I said, Jason will be talking about something, and then all of a sudden Brad will say, "Yeah, but did you hear about?" So Brad has become conspiracy brother.
Okay.
Man, I guess I don't know if it's because I have time on my hands to do my own research, and
that's exactly.
I just don't. It's probably what it is. But whenever I'm being fed bullshit, I can't deal with it, so I have to figure it out. And then when I do, I tell people, and they're like, "Well, no, you're just being a conspiracy theorist," and I'm like, "Well, no, I'm not. I'm pretty sure." I actually, and then the conspiracies start coming true, right? Like the whole Biden or Hunter Biden's laptop, which was supposed to be bullshit. That all of a sudden is true, and there's the Diddy and the Epstein things and all this shit, and I'm just like, see,
I told you,
like, come on, man, like I told you, there's the Stanley Kubrick shit with the moon landing. I mean, I could go like hours on this shit, bro. I mean,
did you get
like
what?
I mean,
do you know Malcolm Springer?
I know Malcolm a little bit. Yes, Memphis.
He's up in Nashville. We need to get you and him together, and then we'll lock y'all into a room, and y'all could go at it probably for hours on that.
Dude, I love the Joe Rogan pod. He brings Bob Lazar on there, and we're talking aliens, UFOs, bro. I love shit like that because if for nothing else, it's entertaining as hell, right?
Yeah, totally.
and then what if what if there is truth to it? Disclosure is happening if it's not already happened, right? It's just whether how much you want to buy into it or what, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and look at it this way too. Look, I'm 59, and
you're old.
Yeah, I'm old, and you know what number I'm turning this year, and I got when I was a kid, Walter Cronkite, and that's the way it was. I mean, he gave you the effing news. What they have on today is you might get, in an hour, you might get 10 minutes of news, and then you get 50 minutes of opinion. Trust me, I'm for everybody to have their own opinion, but I really don't want to watch TV about opinion. So, that kind of leads into, like, there's so many theories out there, then, everything gets thrown out. Well, what is the truth anymore, So I am very much got to taste it. I got to touch it. In fact, my real estate agent here, he knows, he'll show me stuff, and then he goes, "No, I know how you are. You got to go out. You're very touchy, feely. I'm like, yes." That's in fact, the guy I was talking to you about earlier, the Brit, he's the agent, and that's exactly how I am. I got to touch it and feel it. But no, I heard that in you. I was like, oh God, there's another one. We got another buddy that has it. But there was, it goes back to me saying, and Brad was saying, we were getting all this information out. I don't know about you, Brad, but I compare what we listen to audio or watch on YouTube versus TV these days. Man, I barely watch any TV with the exception of I'm a loyalist for LSU. If I'm not at the game, I'm watching them on TV. But I don't follow any shows anymore unless it's like an HBO series like Game of Thrones or something like that was on. But I really don't watch that.
Or Landman. Did you guys catch Landman?
Yeah,
we're into Landman. And
that's crazy, man.
My dad says I need to watch it. He also got me on.
It's hilarious.
What's the one in Yellowstone? Yellowstone. Okay, yeah. My dad got me on that before he jumped the shark.
That's
but yeah, I don't watch. It's funny. I pay for them.
Landman's pretty entertaining. I will give it.
I am going to have to watch it, but I mean, I don't know how much TV do you ingest, Brad, compared to what you listen. Are you a big podcast listener or?
Man, I never was, and then we started the Vinyl Road, and I find myself now, I would mainly just see like clips, on YouTube, and I followed, of course, Joe Rogan, Trevor Noah, some of these guys, but I was never big into podcasting, and quite honestly, I can't really watch the legacy media, the news anymore. It just comes in as lies. I can't even deal with it because I know who's funding those channels and who owns them, and I just can't really believe anything that they say. So then I go to Twitter X, and then I actually find out the truth, or what is it, Rumble or somewhere where it's things that YouTube can't even play because they've been banned from YouTube because, of course, Google owns YouTube, and they have their special interests and their own spin on shit, right? So it's tough for me, dude. And at least, when Elon Musk took over the X and changed it to X, I mean, he routed out. He really did a lot, I feel like, for free speech. I mean, even though there is still a little bit of censorship and bullshit with that platform, but at least it's in real time, though, before they can actually bastardize it and change it for the most part. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, we got a lot of revisionist history. People going back and if we don't learn anything from our past, we can never advance. And people want to go back and erase history. I'm like, God, man, look, some of these things were really bad. That's why we can talk about them. If you can't talk about them, you hide it in the dark. That's what's scary as hell. So.
Well, my thing is the Redskins are the Redskins. I mean, that's a fucking football team. Like, what? I mean, to me, if you could get that bent out of shape, because, I mean, look, they're called the Redskins. That's what they called Native Americans. That's not a dig on Native Americans. It's a fucking football team. Right. Like, some of the shit, it just gets too alarmist and crazy for me, right? I can't fucking deal with it, man. It's like if they have a genuine, like beef with it or something, but still, like you said, do you tear the statue down, or do you learn from the past? How are you going to learn from the past if you tear the statue down or whatever monument they say is offensive? I'm like, man, I have a hard time with a lot of that shit, bro. I'm sorry. I was raised in the South. I'm from Jacksonville, born and raised, and man, it's some of that shit. I have a hard time with that perspective, I guess, or that line of thinking.
And I'm sure I was too. From South Louisiana, but I just treat everybody, right. I don't treat anybody wrong. I don't care who you are, or where you come from. You're all your opinions, what they are. I'll always respect them and believe in everybody have an opinion. I won't hate you because of your opinions. So. Yeah, that's
or because of the past that happened before we were even born. I'm like, bro, like, you gonna blame me on or blame this, this kind of person or whoever. Yeah. But no one was even alive when this shit was happening. So tell me another one. I don't even know what to say about that shit.
Yeah. What would you? I think that. I think society. We try and. I think on. We teaching in school these days. They teach a lot to standardized tests. I think they should be, in my opinion, they should be teaching at least a little bit of coping skills in real life. Because, man, you see these kids and, you have all this social media and stuff. You need to learn how to interpret that as an adult, and learn how to count to 10, just some simple basic rules, because people explode way too easily, as we've seen with some of the recent episodes. It doesn't matter if it's a gun or if you got a pressure cooker, like the guy in Boston and my cousins were there, like they just walked away when that happened, or a knife. I mean, if somebody wants to take you down, it doesn't matter what kind of damn weapon it's going to be. So pack your bear.
Actually, quite recently, a friend of ours, Joe Starkey here in Jacksonville, he was with his wife. And some Jeep pulled out in front of him and almost ran him off the road, and actually brake checked him and pulled in front of him, and they almost wrecked. And so Joe, he was worried that the guy was going to follow him home, so he pulled over, and the guy pulled over too. He gets out of his car, and the guy in the Jeep shot him in the neck and killed him in front of his wife.
Jesus,
right here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Damn,
and right on the and we were just. I mean, this guy has been around the Jacksonville music scene forever. He's as short as me. It's not like he got out the car looking like Hulk Hogan trying to, and it's kind of an odd thing, because the police have been tight-lipped as to who the person is that shot him. So there's a controversy here. People are hashtagging justice for Joe, and so his son Damon is a good friend of mine. And they still don't have a lot of answers. And I mean, you know, of course, DeSantis did change some gun laws, and there's the stand your ground thing. But I'm pretty sure that only would come into play if Joe had a gun too. But he was not armed, and so the guy sat in his truck, rolled down the window, and shot him. So I don't know if the guy was the person that shot him. Maybe he was a policeman's son, or maybe he was a politician's son. Maybe he's ex-military. I don't know, but yeah. So Damon, his son, hired a lawyer, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it, man. And right now, it's just an odd situation, man, and it's terrible. It's tragic, of course, but it's like, how do you get away with shooting somebody, and then even the cops aren't even saying anything about it, and they never charged him. He actually turned himself in, and they never formally charged him or arrested him. So, yeah, it's man, I don't know. It's a weird world we live in these days, right? I mean,
count to 10, people. Learn how to count to freaking 10.
Never get out of your vehicle.
No, don't get out.
Road rage. And
stuff. Because you never know what the next person is going to do, man. Defensive,
especially
living.
Yeah, that was a bad call on his part, but I think he was just trying to see where the guy's head was at, and again, he didn't want him to follow them home too. He didn't know.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's a mistake that any of us could make, but just please don't.
But that's the problem is you don't know what's in people's head. And
you don't know.
Most of the time, they're just freaking psycho.
Yeah, just waiting on edge, just triggered and ready to go. And that's really sad, man. Yeah, that is a terrible story. Well, you got any good stories, man?
I think that's some good ones. I don't know. What do you want to hear about? You tell me, dude. Like,
well, no, we were going to talk. We're going to talk about your career, but like we don't bring anybody into like let's go through the roughest time. Like listening to the show.
We don't try to make people cry or anything.
Yeah, no, I kind of
that's crazy.
On that, I was listening to him, and Jason would kind of. He'd bait Brad a little bit. Well, he'd ask him, "Hey," he goes, "I just want to touch on this a little bit." And then basically what he's saying is, "I just want to put a little bit of lemon juice in the sorest part of your skin right here, this deep cut you got."
Little salt.
Yeah,
true journalistic fashion.
Yeah, and it's funny, no, but the show's really They got Bartlett on there talking like the questions that we wouldn't ask. You know, Jason had no problem with it. But I did explain to Brad earlier that, and Rob knows me well enough to know, I will ask those questions to people in person.
Yeah, you come up with some stuff.
Just because I gotta know, and I don't want to stare. I don't want to be the guy staring across the room at you. Like the guy, there was a guy in Costco, the one I shop at, and he had his arm cut off at the elbow, and he was working behind the service desk. And my wife said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'll be right back." She goes, I could just hear her saying, "Oh no, you're not going to go."
No.
I had to know, and it was actually he worked at a pizza place and got his arm caught in a thing to see
at a pizza place.
At a pizza place. Now that's got to be obviously old school. It's not a Domino's or it's got to be an old pizza place that makes their own shit. But yeah,
Little Caesars.
No, not that microwavable.
Not that old.
But no, that's I had to. That's just part of the curiosity. I got to know.
Hilarious.
But no, man. 2025 was a really, really good year for Brad Stewart. I started seeing a lot of stuff on him on social media, and then there was. There was a reunion with Shinedown where he came out and played Fly from the Inside at Rockville, man. I was like, man, this is a beautiful freaking moment, man. This is amazing. And I reached out to him. I said, man, that is great. And I said, oh, by the way, if you want to get on the podcast, talk. Well, I can't because I'm starting a podcast. I'm like, of course you are. Who isn't? But but you know how it is. When we started, you have to record. But it's... It was a good year.
We're on episode 31 of Vinyl Road. I actually we record on Tuesdays, so we'll be recording that one tomorrow. And Barry Kirch is going to come on from Shinedown, of course, the drummer, OG drummer of Shinedown. I don't think tomorrow, but this month he's coming on. But yeah, man, it was great, man. Look, it would be the first time that Saliva, since I've been in the band, which will be 11 years this year, had ever played with Shinedown, except for we actually played with them in the Chicago area when Wayne was still alive. So that would have had to have been 2022 maybe. And we played at this radio festival with them on different stages, of course. And I didn't see Brent that day. I didn't see Eric, but I did see Barry and Zach. And then here we go up in Maryland, up in Ocean City. We're on the same bill, and oddly enough, my former band Fuel is on the same stage as well as Shinedown, but it's a different Fuel. It's not with Brett Skynyrd. So yeah, man, it was like this thing. I'm like, wow, 3 of the bands. I mean, if Puddle of Mud would have been there, it'd have been like all 4 of the bands I had something to do with.
And he's just kind of poking you with a stick, man. It's that's a
yeah, but it was good, man. It was great, and I was glad. Honestly, I thought I was done for the day. Saliva played early, and me and Sebastian Labar, our stage left guitarist, we were drinking at the artist lounge. So next thing you know, Shinedown's on stage, and Barry, his one of their techs comes up to me and is trying to hand me an in-ear pack, and she goes, "Do you have your own ear molds, or do you need some generic ones?" And I go, "For what?" And she goes, "Well, you're going to get up and play a song with them." I was like, "I am? What song?"
That's funny.
She was like, "Fly from the Inside." And I was like, "Huh, when is that happening?" She's like, "Oh, it's like 2 songs from now."
Oh my God.
So I was like, yeah, I was like, okay, shit. So I ran to our tour bus and I got my in-ear, my in-ear monitors. And I ran back to stage, and I was literally like, about to have a panic attack. I hadn't played that song in 18, however long, wow. And I'm like, man. So anyhow, I get up there, and I get, next thing you know, man, they're putting a bass on me, and I'm talking to Barry, and I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me, man? Shit, dude, I could at least rehearsed the song once or twice, But he's like, then it would have been as cool, man, anyhow, yeah, it was crazy. So I'm sitting there, and Eric comes over. Brent's doing his thing with him, talking to the crowd, and I'm like, "Eric, is this how it goes in the one part?" And he's like, yeah, that's it, man. You got it. Don't worry about it, So anyhow, yeah, I jumped up there with the band, and we ripped the song, and I have to say, it was a defining moment in my life. It really was, man. It was something that it was cathartic, I guess you could.
Yeah, kind of made you whole again, and that's man, that's champion life, man, dude. There's nothing better than that, man. That's good stuff, I'm still high from it, dude. That was like that was 8 months ago or whatever it was. It's one of those things where it didn't end well with me and the band. It was like going through a divorce, I would imagine, so it was sort of a way to it just sort of kind of healed things. Just in the 3.5, 4 minutes of that song up there on stage with those guys, it just finally, like, I forgave them. I forgave, and not that they needed forgiveness, but I forgave the situation, I guess you could say. Yeah. You know what I mean? And my heart that had carried all that resentment and shit around with me for so long. That's the worst, it was finally it was lifted, man. And the only person that was affecting was me, right? Because I'm carrying it around, and I didn't even want to hear their music, and all this and that, and after that happened, shit, man, that I was good. It was crazy how
music
that
is healing
kind of thing worked.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
totally,
going through I remember going through a divorce, more than once, but I remember
5
going
times.
through, no, man, hey,
4,
hey, no,
3,
okay, yeah, that's really
too many.
bad, but yeah, I was gonna let my wife for life, where I asked her if she wanted to wear a Brett Favre jersey to when we got, the number 4 on it. But anyhow, yeah, it's funny when we went through, what I went through with the kids' mom. I had to do some forgiving, and I knew that, the way I was raised and everything is just, you have to forgive. And let me tell you, man, it's
worse to carry it with you.
You can say, I forgive you, but until your heart forgives, and it'll come, But until your heart's ready to forgive, it's just a hollow statement. It took about 7 years, and we became really good friends again, yeah. So I mean, seeing somebody else, go through a thing like that, dude, that's good for the human spirit, not just his, but man, it made me. I was so fucking happy when I saw that at my house.
I like when I see bands do that and they come back together, after a bad breakup, and then they come back and just kill it,
Yeah, because you never hear a band drama. That never happens, man.
There's always something.
Yeah, there's no such thing as band drama, right?
No. You know what got me
It was cool, though, because there was fan drama, too, man. I mean, there was always
It always
the
is.
OG. But the fans were like, they were united too at that moment. I felt like, because there was the ones that stayed loyal to the original lineup, and then there was the ones that didn't even know the original lineup existed. They started at like Sound of Madness record, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and nobody realizes that Fly on the Inside and 45 both came from that first.
The first record, and Simple Man and Burning Bright, and then I was still in the band when we did Save Me and Heroes on the Us and Them record, and I Dare You. Chris Daughtry, before he was a superstar, he covered "I Dare You" on Idol, and actually, I co-wrote that song. So yeah, so I wouldn't. Now we'll do shows with Daughtry and stuff, and I'm like, man, I remember when he was like coming to our shows, watching us and trying to get started and stuff, man, and now he's like, superstar now, so
that is impressive.
Interesting, man.
When I liked Shinedown, but I had a friend that would go to a shit ton more. I mean, he'd been to Shinedown shows and everything, but now I have. But before I had ever gone to a show, I'll never forget seeing the video Shinedown in my house on YouTube. I said, that is man. Anybody from the South, and especially where Brad lives, anybody from the South, Lynyrd Skynyrd is. It's like
our DNA.
Yeah. And when I heard him cover Simple Man, when they were just doing it at somebody's house, I was like, my God. Him and Jason, I think it was Jason Todd playing guitar, and it was just, it's unbelievable. I was like,
I want to say, if it's the one you're talking about, we were at a guy named Ronnie Fitt's house in Memphis, and he had won the radio contest for us to come and play at his house in his living room. That's the one you're talking about.
It's got to be, because the one that's the most seen.
Yeah, and I still keep in touch. Ronnie still hits me up to this day. He'll come to Saliva shows. But we did a lot with radio, of course, in those days, and of course that's when terrestrial radio was still breaking bands, and it wasn't the internet hadn't really taken over quite yet in those early 2000s, and so yeah, we went to his house, man, and we did that a couple times actually. People, that's how. I'm pretty sure that's how we got our records spun. We would do things like that for radio. They'd run a contest, and somehow, some way, the song would go up the chart, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. But
great strategy.
But yes. So yeah, all of a sudden, we're doing something at some guy's house that won a contest, and next thing you know, our song's number one on the station's playlist.
That's cool.
Man.
But yeah, being from, there's a lot of Southern music that comes through there, through the Jacksonville area, and of course Tennessee. Goddamn, everybody's from Tennessee or lives there now. There's very few that don't. So it doesn't matter what genre.
Well, Brent was originally from Knoxville, and of course I'm born and raised here. And so Jason Todd, our guitar player in Shinedown, was married to Melody Van Zant, who was Ronnie's. The late Ronnie's daughter. So we had a lot of connections with the Skynyrd family on both sides. And Judy actually Judy Van Zant, Ronnie's widow, let Brent stay in her guest house for as we were sort of demoing songs before Leave a Whisper, the first record, came out. He'd pretty much spent a lot of the money that was in the budget, but we still needed more songs, and she was gracious enough to house him.
Nice.
And so it's kind of funny when the whole Simple Man thing came to be. It was almost like it was a way that he paid her back. because of course, whenever you cover a song, there's the original songwriters still get paid for that song. Yeah, exactly. I know you all know how it works, but so and obviously Ronnie being deceased, she gets his share of the publishing and the songwriting for that song and any song that he made. So man, it felt good for us to that, and of course she owned a bar, a concert venue here called the Freebird, and early Shinedown days, we cut our teeth at her bar, at her venue, man.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So that's
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, we have a lot of deep roots with the Skynyrd family, and actually a couple of nights ago, a friend of mine's birthday happened here in Jacksonville, and his wife hired Face to Face. I don't know if you remember the old Face to Face punk rock band. And so they played, but we brought Melody with us. And because Face to Face used to play the Freebird, and they gave her like a skateboard or some merch or something while they were there. So it's really cool, man. Like Jacksonville, I really wish the Freebird was still around. It was a cool venue, for our town, but.
You know how those venues go, man, and a lot of them 5-6 years ago almost now, croaked sadly during that period. It was hard for them to stay open, So that's
COVID was I've heard Rob's story, briefly.
Yeah, I was just wincing too, like just the word COVID, like. Yeah, it just rushes me back. Like,
he got it. He got terrible, it. Man. He got it for the first time again earlier this year.
But I still feel very fortunate to be here because a lot of people didn't make it. Yeah. So I've got no complaints, man.
You got 3 months free sleep, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When will I get that?
It was not fun. Trust me.
I know. I have to ask you. Do you remember any of that? When
I
you
don't
were
remember
down
a lot of
into
it.
That coma?
No, I don't even remember like them taking me out of my house and life flight. I don't remember any of that stuff.
But didn't you have
drugs?
The drug dreams, right?
The drugs really did a number on my sleep, and when I was in a coma, it was like nightmares continuously. It was the craziest.
It's like being a rock star, but like the rock star lifestyle, but all in 3 months.
I don't think that's a rock star life. No, it was like a horror movie, like just looping. It was the weirdest stuff.
Yeah,
weirdest dreams, and then the hallucinations from too much like carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Because when you're getting on a ventilator, your body doesn't regulate it right and all this stuff. So yeah, that makes you hallucinate.
Yeah, the ventilator was actually the enemy of COVID, right? I mean,
I was.
Man, there was just so much disinformation, just so much bullshit when that thing was happening. Good God, man.
Yeah, well, they would switch me on the ventilator, and then they would take the ventilator off, and then put me on they call it like just the regular trach, where it would just shoot just like continuous oxygen. 100% oxygen.
And dude, they were basically experimenting.
It was
on
experiment. Yeah, they were experimenting.
I had another friend that came out of it too. There was two of them that did, and they both told me the drug dreams were incredible. I mean,
and coming off of them, it's just like I've never done drugs in my whole life.
Yeah,
and that was like my drug induced.
No wonder you want to go to so many shows with me now.
Oh no, it was terrible. I had to beg them to quit giving them to me. But coming off of that was like a real experience in itself.
Good Lord,
it was terrible.
What do you remember? What were they giving you that gave you the nightmares? And
fentanyl. I was on fentanyl quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go drop him down in New Orleans in the 5th Ward and see if we can score some when we're down there.
But I didn't feel any. I really didn't feel any pain, and they were like,
"Sure, he can."
They couldn't understand why I didn't feel any pain, but I was like, "Oh man, they had me on so many drugs," because I had tubes coming out of my chest and out of my sides and on front, and that went into my lungs to like let the fluids drain and stuff. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah,
my wife. I was gonna say my wife works at a hospital, and she works at Mayo Clinic now. But when that was going on, she was at a different hospital, and man, that was tough on us, of course, because she's at the front line of like all these people, and of course the hallways were stacked with people. They were turning people away. People were dying. Then you couldn't even go to see them when they die because they don't want you in there.
Yeah. Brad, I asked. I asked him, I asked Rob, I said, dude, you on a floor that was nothing but COVID patients. This is during the Delta version of it. And I said, Anybody else come up beside you? He said the only way they came up is they was zipped up.
I was seeing them in body bags.
Yeah, he was the only one that came out.
Like you said, their bodies were stacked, and that's how they were doing it, man.
That's fucked up. And they wanted to do a lung transplant, which would.
Well, they tried to disconnect me a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
So they wanted to let me go.
Oh my God.
My wife wouldn't let them. She fought them tooth and nail, man.
Yeah, I mean, and they wanted to do a lung transplant, which he would be like stuck on a drug for the rest of his life to like to get shots to maintain that. It's just so many things.
And she wouldn't let them because she was playing music for me when I was in there, and she could show them that I was responding to the music.
Yeah.
So she's like, "No, I'm not doing that yet because he's responding."
And I can't fault anybody for trying and wanting to do different stuff because I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. But I think, in the words of our mutual friend, Mr. Bartlett, whose dad was before he passed, I think in 2019. I never did get to meet him. He was up on it. Like they have things named after you at Johns Hopkins.
Oh wow,
that's how high he is. And he said,
wow,
from what his dad would say, it would be probably something that they won't know for 20 years. The answers, until things flush back out. But it's funny. Bartlett's a guitarist for Saving Abel, and I always give him the Stub Brothers line. I said, Bartlett, you come from a house of learned doctors, don't you? Yes.
Great movie, love it.
Yeah. But
oh my God.
Yeah, that's well, how'd you get your start in music, man? I mean, what brought it on? Somebody in the family kick you onto it?
But my dad, on my dad's side, they're from like South Georgia, Alma, Blackshear, and like Waycross, and they were some players on that side. And my dad always had an acoustic guitar around. In fact, he passed 10 years ago, but I still have his Epiphone acoustic. And I guess early on, my brother and I, we showed an interest in music, and he got us a guitar. But it's funny because we came up pretty poor, like lower middle class, and so we had to share everything. So they got us a Fender Squier Bullet, a cheap Fender, and a PV Rage. And he and I were like, "Yeah, let's learn some Metallica songs," and like early Metallica shit. Come to find out, that's not exactly what you learn first on the guitar.
It's Smoke on the Water, man. Come on now.
Yeah, man, that's a bit more reasonable than Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Did you say, Daddy, this is too hard. Can I cut two of these strings off? No.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because I never was that great of a guitar player. Hell, I'm not even a great bass player.
Oh, God,
I got good timing. I don't know what it is, and I could write a little bit in music or whatever, But no, man, that's really what we started doing. And then, by the time I was in 11th grade, we were, this was like early 90s. And of course, grunge was kind of my generation's music style, and which I'm very proud of because, there was the 80s had sort of run its course. And next thing you know, like, here comes Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Mudhoney, and all these badass bands out of Seattle. And then, so I was in cover bands. It's funny because in the early 90s in Jacksonville, we were playing those bands' music, some of those bands' songs, but a lot of them were deep cuts. We weren't playing Even Flow and Alive. We were playing like Porch and like deeper cuts. And people would come up to us and they'd be like, "Man, y'all's originals are killer."
Yeah.
I'm saying original songs, bro.
I get that in my band.
That's fucking Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Yes. So, he does that too. They'll play deep cut shit. Yeah. That's awesome.
So we did that, So I started kind of doing that in high school, and then, graduated in 92. And some of the guys I had played with in high school, we carried that on into the mid 90s. And so here in Jacksonville, I was lucky enough to meet Fred Durst. And we were in, Fred Durst, of course, of Limp Bizkit. Had moved, he was in town, and became friends with him. He and I would skate Kona together, and he actually dated my roommate's, my girlfriend's roommate at the time, and all this. And so yeah, man, we were in separate bands, but we actually let our singer Jeff go to get Fred in the band because he was starting. He had ended the projects that he was in recently, and so we ended up writing some songs with Fred, and but at the same time he was forming Limp Bizkit. He had just his band 10 Foot Shindig had sort of dismantled, and you know, my former band with Jeff, we would play shows with him, around town and stuff, but he had sort of dismantled that. And so yeah, man, it was one of those things where he started Limp Bizkit, but we were always like, man, like, and if you'd ever seen Fred, like, especially in those days, like, there's just certain people that are going to make it. I don't know how to describe it. I was like, that guy, if you're going to get on the train that's going to lead you out of here, you need to get on the train that he's conducting, because he just had a thing about him, like a magnetism and just a presence, man. And he knew how to put songs together. He knew a lot about the business and shit too, So
which is what he's doing a lot now, right? He's doing a lot of producing and stuff. Yeah, producing. I mean, he got into directing videos for bands and stuff like that. But so fast forward to like '97, $3 Bill comes out, $3 Bill Y'all comes out, Biscuit, whatever, and I ended up like, I'm like, man, maybe music's not going to happen for me. I still played, and so I'm trying to keep this Reader's Digest too, guys, by the way. Okay,
so anyhow,
you good?
So anyhow, I graduated from college here in Jacksonville from UNF with a biology degree, and I get a call from Danny Wimmer, which Danny Wimmer at the time, which I'm sure you know who Danny Wimmer is.
Every time he puts, go to Rockville, baby.
Yeah.
Those big
and
four.
He puts on the biggest ones that in the United States, pretty much for rock.
Sonic Temple, Loud and Live, and Aftershock, man. Yeah.
Aftershock, Loud and Life. That's it. So, but back then he was A&Ring for Fred's label. When Limp Bizkit was coming up, Danny owned the liquor license at a club here called the Milk Bar, and so Limp Bizkit kind of cut their teeth there. So Fred, I guess, they kind of owed each other favors. So anyhow, they had signed a band called Puddle of Mud. Actually, they had signed Wes from a band called Puddle of Mud on Fred's imprint on Geffen called Flawless Records, and yeah, man. So they signed the singer Wes Scantlin, and I get a phone call from Danny, and he's like, "Hey, man, Fred wants you and Paul Phillips and a drummer named T-Bone Shane Webb to come out to California and audition to be in this guy's band." and that right there, that started it for me on a pro level. I would say.
Yeah, you get away from the am I swimming, keep treading water, keep treading water, keep treading water. Hey, catch traction.
Yeah, when they're flying you to another state all across the U.S., that's pretty big.
I want to say I don't even know if I'd ever been on a plane before.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
I was like, I was like the Axl Rose shit or something, man. And then
no doubt.
The next thing you know, I got to fly on a 5-6 hour flight all the way out there and shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So we get out there, and we had learned Wes's some of the early Puddle of Mud stuff, which is some of the songs, Drift and Die. Some of those songs are already around, right? So a day or two goes by, we're rehearsing and shit, and Danny's like, "Well, do you guys have any song ideas you can present to Wes? Maybe y'all can write a song together." And I was like, "I do," and I presented what would become the song Control.
Yeah.
The Smack My Ass song, I like the way you smack my ass.
Yeah.
So he wrote that part of the song, but the riff or whatever was my riff, and that's really what kicked everything off for me. I didn't make it in the band like the next day, even though we'd written that song. I thought I was in. I was like, man, I'm in, dude. We wrote one of his best songs and shit, And they're like, Danny hands me a Delta plane ticket. He's like, "Hey, man, we're going to keep auditioning bass players. Thanks for coming out. If we use the song, we'll contact you and we'll work it out. We'll just, give you some money for it, or like basically buy me out of the song."
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. Okay. I was like, that's a kick in the balls, right? I felt like we just wrote, because he didn't have Blurry yet. He didn't have the big hit. He had Drift and Die. He had Basement. He had some of the deeper cuts on the first record. But so, man, I was bummed. And I went home packing, went back to waiting tables at the fucking the cantina, the Cyclone and Aya's cantina in Jack's Beach. And I was like, man, it was like the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, right? You know, and so yeah, man. That then you know, the other two guys that went out there with me stayed out there and signed contracts, and they're still playing the Control song. And next thing you know, that's going to be their first single.
Wow.
So I had to get an attorney, and we worked out a song split agreement, of course, and we fought each other about it. And thankfully, I ended up with a nice percentage of the song. And
songwriting matters, man.
Yeah, it does.
It does, man. And so that led to a publishing deal, and then that led to me to meet Britt Smith and here in Jacksonville, and it just kind of went from there, man. You know, so
that's a good start, man. That's also, you know, not giving up. Like I said, when you're young, you really you don't see as far down the damn road, you know, and
it's kind of bad to try to do that anyways, right? Because you kind of like get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if everything is in the moment when you're young, man, you know. But it's good. I mean, but you know, with some people, like I said,
so you've had a good journey, though. Needless to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was 2001, or no, it was 2000 when I was out there, and then you know the record, I guess, came out 2001, 2002. So yeah, so that was a long time ago, man. So I've been through all kinds of shit since then. But that's actually just what I'm saying. I mean, that's what started it, as far as because you know that song was their first single. You know, Jordan Schur and the label. And Fred, they backed that band, and they put a lot of money in that band. I think from the single Control that I co-wrote, they sold about 800,000 records just on the first single. Nice. And that teed it up for, you know, Blurry, Drift and Die, and She Hates Me. And, you know, the song was on track to do 4 million. I think it sold 6 million records total since it was released. So, you know, thankfully I have a tiny little piece of all those records from that song, man.
And now if you think about that time period and you see Brad's hair today, then you understand that's where it came from. Is that where it switched?
Well, actually, man, it's funny. So I had long curly hair. I kind of looked like Mike Inez or like Mike Starr from Alice in Chains. And I think that's why Fred wanted me to come into the band. Yeah. Because I looked like the grunge guy. And, you know, Wes sounds a lot like Kurt Cobain. Let's face it. I mean, he sounds like, you know. So, but I had cut my hair because I trained at a dojo here in Jacksonville. And my sensei at the time is traditional Japanese martial arts, and he didn't make me cut my hair by any means, but he was basically, I was training, I was you know, going to get my black belt, and he was basically like, you know, none of the black belts I have in our dojo have long hair like that, because it could be a weakness. You know, someone could fuck you up, grab you by the hair and shit, you know. So anyway, so I ended up cutting my hair, and you know, they were all about how everybody looked. So I don't know if that screwed me or whatever happened, but I didn't make it in the band, but you know, for whatever reason. But thankfully with the success of the song, that put me on the radar to meet Brent Smith through a mutual friend here in Jacksonville, a producer. And yeah, we were able to, we connected, and next thing you know, we formed Shinedown, and we were doing it, man. We were doing it early 2000s, getting songs done, and finally got the green light to do the record.
Well, see, I'll just say you gave us the story, the preamble, man. That's everybody. That's cool. Everybody wants to tell the story of the breakup, and then you got into Saliva, but no, we got that
was a cool story, yeah.
And everything. All those stories have been released, but no, we went and released we did the prequel. And we just put it in.
Yeah, this is the prologue. Or no,
that's very cool.
We'll go back. We'll sell that one too.
This is Attack of the Clones, man. This is the fucking Attack. That's right. Star Wars shit.
No, that's right, man. No, but that's a good story, dude. You know, we hear there's so many people, you know, that give up on that dream, man. But yeah, you had a foothold. Being able to write's a big deal, man. You know, and that helps.
Well,
it makes you a valuable
piece. Definitely was. For me, I was like, man, I'm not giving up. First of all, and especially once I got that big of a you know, a leg up from Fred. I'm like, if Fred Durst believes in you, like, you've seen what he's done, and he's helped Stained and Cold and a bunch of these artists and things, and So it gave me belief in myself, but also I'm the kind of guy that I'm like, nope, you're not going to get rid of me that easily.
Yeah.
Nice try. And it ends up, of course, for whatever reason, I end up in we formed Shinedown. We put a couple records out, and then I get let go from that band. Then I joined Fuel with Brett Scallions for 5 years, and then I joined Saliva in 2015, and I've been in Saliva ever since. So
and the beat goes on, baby.
Man, we're having fun. If it ever is not fun anymore, and then I'm good. I'll do something else. But we're still having fun out here, and we're still playing fun shows and getting breaks. We're on Rockville again this year, and we're supposed to go to Russia. I mean, we went to Japan a few years back, and I had never been to Japan. We actually went to Okinawa, and it was like, man, it's just crazy where music can take you. You know, like it really is.
Yeah, and y'all get to see, some really cool stuff. Drown & Pull did that. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. They went and spent their Christmas away from their families, and they went to Poland with the military, and they spent it with those guys, and that's a hell of a sacrifice. But you're seeing shit that nobody else can see too. Yeah. So that's a cool trade-off, and that's your ticket to the world, man. Which a lot of people won't ever get that chance, but that is pretty damn cool.
It is, man, and I remember when they were doing that, I was like, man, who's your agent again? Like, how are they getting these shows in fucking Poland? Like, I mean, it was cool though. I mean, I know that they, after seeing them since then, I was like, man, like, how was that? And they were stoked to be able to go over there and do that, And
but y'all
since then, of course,
Yeah, and y'all have toured and y'all have done plenty together. I mean, I've been around them where y'all have been around like 100,000 times. And then you remember that?
Yeah. Saliva and Drown & Pull did, especially in the early days, toured a lot, and then somewhat recently we did some tours with them too. Since I've been in the band.
Sure. You remember the the post-COVID show at what was Warehouse Live, where it was like every concert basically that was canceled because of COVID. They had all those shows that they had to cancel. They pretty much pushed it into one show with everybody in that time frame. If you were a band that started like 2001 to 5, you basically were there playing. Do you remember that day when all the buses were like 2 blocks away?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. I want to say Hinder, Buckcherry, us, Drown & Pull. I want to say
Saving Abel.
We played Warehouse, Saving Abel. Yeah, we played Warehouse a few times, so I have to.
Yeah,
Tantric was there too.
Everybody was there. I mean, I can't name them all, but all of them were there.
Is Tantric out of Florida?
Yeah, is Tantric out of Florida?
No, Tantric, Hugo, so it's Days of the New minus Travis. And they were based, I know Hugo was based in Louisville. So he joined, when Travis and they split from the rest of the Days of the New. Now, Days of the New, Midwest somewhere, I can't remember where those guys were, based out of when they were Days of the New. But I know Hugo came from the Louisville area. But yeah, it's back in the day. I want to say Shinedown and Silvertide. We opened for Tantric on like a club run, like when we were first starting out in 03, 04. I mean, it was
Tantric plays.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and Sebastian, who's in our band, Jeff LeBar's son, Sebastian. Jeff, of course, from Cinderella. He passed a couple years ago, but his son's in Saliva these days, and he was in Tantric for several years too. So yeah, man, it's big incestuous.
It is, like I said,
sort of business, man. Like
it is. Well, man, thanks for a biggin for joining us, and of course, you can catch Saliva on any platform, musically or social media. And like I said, you can catch him on the Jason Bailey podcast, which that one in particular is called the Vinyl Road Podcast. And I am a big watcher of that one. So, yeah.
Come check us. We're going to be doing, we're not really doing a ton of stuff early in the year, but we're definitely going to be around. We got some irons in the fire, so to speak, for some big summer touring. I think we're we'll probably be supporting, but we're going to be out there doing it, man. So, I mean, please come see us, come say hello, listen to the Vinyl Road, listen to this podcast, which, man, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, guys. I hope I didn't talk your ear off.
No, you did fantastic. You told us a good story today, man. That's what we're all about, man.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, and everybody, we thanks for joining us, and we are out of here.
Later.
Click.
Peace.